Jasmine Jones, founder of Myya, but also multi-hyphenated, accomplished woman. Thank you for being here.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, I'm like so honored. I was telling you before we started recording, I'm like fangirling over you. I just want to list some of the accomplishments besides starting Myya, which what we're going to discuss today, but also what you do. You are based in DC. You have your own podcast called Elevate with Jasmine. You are an executive producer of Show Her the Money. Is that correct?
I starred in Show Her the Money.
Star and Show Her the Money. Okay, amazing. You were Miss DC USA in 2016, and you were Forbes 30 under 30. Like, what could you not do?
I think
Same.
are some things I can do. Uh, but you're right. This has been such a journey for me, and life has taken me in so many different directions, but I feel like it's all destined. So I'm just feeling really grateful to be fulfilling my purpose.
Oh, you are. And I'm so excited because you have started one of the most incredible companies called Myya that I'm really excited to share with not only the Chemo Club, but the audience members of Clean Truths. And so I just start from the beginning. Who are you? Like, where are you from? How did this kind of come to be? What's like the inception of Myya? Can you just bring us back a bit?
Yeah, absolutely. It started a long time ago, actually, when I was a young girl. I was about 9 years old, and I watched my grandmother shop for post mastectomy bras and prosthesis. And I remember watching her walk into this medical supply store
Mhm.
about an hour outside of DC because it was the only one in the area. And she shopped for her bras and prosthetics inside of this space. And I remember so distinctly it smelled like Ben Gay.
Oh,
Yeah. And to get to her bras, you had to walk by aisles of bedpans and laxatives and adult diapers. And then in the back corner behind a curtain is where they fit her for the very intimate parts of her body. And I just remember seeing like the light of the person that I knew of her just seeming to be extinguished. And I remember thinking that someone should do something about that at that time as a little girl. Like someone should be making this experience better for survivors. And why don't they hurry up and do it? And I put it in the back of my mind. Then I was in college and I was sitting in my dorm room. I was addicted to fashion blogs. This was the blog era. And I came across this article where there was a petition for Victoria's Secret to acknowledge breast cancer. Just acknowledge it, contribute. And Victoria's Secret responded saying that they wouldn't do it justice. They wouldn't do the service justice and survivors justice. But over 250,000 women signed that petition. And I remember thinking maybe someone on that petition list should just do something about this problem that existed. At that point, it was 10 years at least, and that I'd seen. And, now it's still an issue. Somebody should be doing something. Fast forward a few years later, I was Miss DC USA, and my makeup artist had breast cancer
oh,
and invited me to the Susan G. Komen walk because she was speaking and it could be an appearance. And I said, oh, of course, I'd love to go. And when I go, I walk up to the registration table and I meet a breast surgeon. And we're talking, and she tells me about this idea she has these patients and they don't have any stores to go to. And they really deserve a better experience. And I tell her all these things about my grandmother having the same experience 15, almost 20 years prior. And still no one had done anything about it. So we decided to combine our forces, me with my background in business and real estate, and
mhm.
she with patients, and to create a space where breast cancer survivors could shop with dignity. And we opened the door to Cherry Blossom Intimates, our brick and mortar store, in October of 2018, where survivors could shop in a boutique-like atmosphere for bras and prosthetics
In DC,
right outside of DC.
outside of
Yeah.
DC.
Yep, about 10 minutes from the DC line.
Oh my God.
But it's actually the most hard-hit area in the country for breast cancer diagnosis, mastectomies. So we offered in the store custom breast prosthetics that come in 36 different skin tones, and then traditional breast prosthetics and mastectomy fitters around the clock. It's the girliest lingerie store you've ever seen in your life. Like
I have
lace the
it.
walls, pink everywhere, all these huge mirrors. It was just so beautiful. After 5 years, after surviving the pandemic, after serving 20,000 customers, we pivoted that same model to be able to provide services to women across the country on a platform called Myya, which is where we offer telehealth fitting. So you could do video visits with certified mastectomy fitters covered by your health insurance plan. And we now do pop-ups across the USA offering these services in person where women are. That's what we realized. If we were able to reach 20,000 women in our stores, how many women can we reach if we just expand across the country on the schedule? Where we are now, we've done 39 pop-ups this year. I was actually doing a report. Yeah, thank you. And it's our goal to just continue to serve survivors and to give them that experience that my grandmother never had the opportunity to have.
So when you describe what your grandmother went through, and I bring this up because I feel like it's still the same experience a lot of cancer thrivers went through today and are going through right now. And it's just like you get diagnosed with breast cancer, with colon cancer, with any sort of cancer, and it becomes not only isolating, but you lose your identity in the process. And so at 9 years old, it sounds like you were able to pick up that your grandma was just almost like, who was her identity now? What was happening? Like she was at the store that probably wasn't the most amazing bedside table experience. So at such a young age, were you able to really grasp what was happening?
100%.
Yeah.
My grandmother always had breast cancer. And I remember the entire time that I've been alive. And I remember my mom telling me about my grandmother's mastectomy by explaining that my grandmother kept her breast in a drawer.
Oh,
And because she had cancer and she had surgery to remove them, and now she's much better. So unfortunately, my grandmother passed away without ever experiencing our store. So I really use that as a legacy. And now with my daughter, I make the conversation about breast and breast health and bras not a taboo at all. When we have prosthesis around or when she was coming with me to the boutique, she would say, "These are mama's boobies." Or she'll try to put on a bra. It's adorable. But I think every generation of women should be having conversations around breast health,
yeah.
very open and honest conversations around it, around family history, and around the experience of being whole and what we consider it to be whole, how it may be impacting our mental health, and not being afraid of having these conversations with our family members and our friends.
How do you get the word out about Myya? So let's just say, so for example, I just had reconstructive surgery. What do I do next? Walk me through the best way to approach it.
Yeah. So typically, physicians will refer their patients to our business. So we
Okay.
have over 160 physicians currently that refer their patients to us.
Amazing.
Thank you. But if they have not, and you've just happened to hear about us on a podcast or see us online, you just go to Myya.com and you select a video visit or an in-person visit.
Okay.
For a video visit, you fill out a little bit of information and we will ship a measuring tape to your home.
Mhm.
And inside that measuring tape, you'll get, I can actually show it to you, a little pouch, a measuring tape that has a D-ring on the edge. So that way you can easily put it onto yourself. And during a video visit with a certified mastectomy fitter, they'll walk you through the process of measuring your underbust, your overbust as necessary, and then recommending bras for you based on your lifestyle and your body type. And we also can offer post-mastectomy prosthesis too, so breast forms that come in different colors to match your skin tone.
And then the turnaround time.
So you'll typically get your measuring tape within 4 days, and your appointment will be in 4 days. And during those 4 days, we're also verifying your health insurance benefit. So we're able to see what you're eligible for when you come into your appointment.
Mhm. Have you had just insane testimonials from your customers?
Yeah. And some of them are so emotional
Yeah.
because having breast removed or having a major life change like cancer can be so emotionally draining. And finding people that get it and that are compassionate can change your life. So we hear a lot of times feedback of no one was really treating me like a woman or a person even after this experience. And now that I've met you, everything seems so much better and easier. And I checked it off and now I can go think about the million of other things that I have going on in my life at this time. And that's really what we're here to do. We want you to even forget about it. Like we want to make it so easy that the process just feels so natural and simple that you're like, okay, I have my breast forms. I ordered a post-surgical pillow and a drain belt and a recovery robe. And now I'm off to the races. I can go back to work. I can get back to my kids. I can get back to my life. And then every time your insurance says you're eligible for more, we'll send you a reminder. And that way we can just deliver them directly to your doorstep. So you don't have to worry about the process. That
Cool.
is really important.
This is incredible. Okay, so you talked about how we started off with brick and mortar, and then after COVID, it turned, so now we've seen it transition over to Myya and its full e-commerce platform.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so what were some challenges that you faced when you were making that pivot or that transition?
Oh, so many. Business owner is tough work. And being a business owner to create a business that hadn't been done before is even more challenging. So we survived the pandemic by really pivoting to this model back in 2020. So I was in the boutique doing video visits with my patients, measuring them, sending them videos on how to wear their breast forms, and then dropping them off to their doorstep, dropping these orders off to their doorstep when our doors were closed. And of course, we thought during the pandemic that it was going to last, what was it, 2 weeks? And it ended up lasting, what, 3 years? So that was huge. Our store stayed open through the end of last year, so through the end of 2023.
Oh,
But in the meantime, we had, like, rent increases. Our rent was going up sky high, and we just knew that we couldn't serve our patients as well as we wanted to in that space. So that was a major challenge for us. Gosh, what else? Becoming certified to accept insurance is challenging. It's a big process, and which is why we're the first direct-to-consumer post-mastectomy brand to do that, because it's not easy. So that was challenging too. Challenges every day. So many challenges, I've probably forgotten about half of them.
yeah.
I have a lot of battle scars, but I'm grateful because we're here, and I think that's what matters the most.
Oh my gosh. And how many people does Myya employ? Is it you, like, you're fulfilling every order? Do you have, like, a team behind you?
We have a team. We have a warehouse in Kansas City. We have so many partners across the USA for distribution. We have the 160 physicians that refer to us. And at our max, we had 16 employees at one time. So we've scaled down a bit since we've closed the boutique. I don't know the exact number, but at our max, we've had 16.
That's incredible. I want to talk to you about the importance of being your own advocate. And I think especially when it comes to breast cancer, and you know this, we're seeing younger and younger women being diagnosed. Like, it's actually terrifying. And with the chemo club in itself, a lot of members, I'm not joking you, most of my members are between the ages of 18 until 28, 29 with serious stages of breast cancer. And I think what happens is that you get overwhelmed with the healthcare system. The diagnosis in itself is overwhelming. And little things like what you're doing, right? Like, you're so important, but you get overwhelmed, and like women don't know like what next steps are. And I think what's beautiful to say what Myya is doing is that not only are you prepping women like after the surgeries, here, we can help you doing XYZ, but you're making your name known. And I think what I love to see is, and I tell my girlfriends this, I'm like, you have to be your own advocate. When something doesn't feel right, you need to speak up. Does Myya, do you guys encourage your customer base to really self-advocate? What does that look like?
We do. So before we were Myya, when we were Cherry Blossom Intimates, in that lingerie space, we sold traditional bras to women who did not have cancer, and we sold lingerie in the store as well. And on the tag of every single piece of product that we carried, it was a reminder to do your self-checks because they save lives. So knowing that we were able to influence all of our customers, anybody who's looking at the price, if you're looking at the price, you flip it over on the other side, it tells you like, hey, did you check your breast? You have to because it saves your life. That was big for us. But you're right. It is about advocating for yourself. I have so many stories of women who knew something was wrong, and some of them ignored that feeling within them. And I think that it's so important for us. It's our intuition that is ingrained in us. It keeps us safe. It keeps us alive. To not be afraid to listen to that intuition and stand up, ask more questions, bring your notebook every time you go to your doctor's office. Even just the visual of them seeing that you're writing things down and that you're asking repeated questions, and that you ask them, hey, can you repeat that? Or if you're denying me of this test, can you explain why and put in my chart why you're denying me
Ooh,
this test?
that's good.
Those small things will make a difference and will encourage your medical provider to look out for you a little bit more, if that makes sense. Like they're people who just get in and out, and you don't wanna be that
Under the
person.
radar.
Who don't cause any trouble, who don't make any waves. You wanna keep asking and advocating. You want them to recognize you when you come in because you want to know that your care is top notch. So please, you have to listen to that voice within you.
Like I always say, the squeaky wheel always gets the oil, right? And
It's true. Be persistent, and in business too, like, you have to keep
the
being
air of your life.
and don't get upset about the no. Maybe you're just not asking the right person. So keep asking more people.
One thing that I love is that your daughter, so you are a mom to a 2-year-old, she is now going to live this journey with you. So she's going to see this. She's going to be aware of breast cancer, what mastectomies are, what mastectomy aftercare looks like. How and I like to ask founders this: when will you start having that conversation with her about your body? Your body can do amazing things. You also have to make sure like it doesn't get sick. Like you have to take care of yourself. When will you start to really breathe that philosophy into her?
We have those conversations now.
Now,
We
that's what
have them
the
now.
founder says. Like, if you do it now, since the day they were born, I'm like, what?
Yes, about body safety, about your health, and you can do it at every level that they can understand, but we have those conversations now. She's a young girl in the world. I want her to know about understanding what her body is doing and why it's doing it, how to speak up if something feels wrong or inappropriate, and then also fun things, like I tell her, "Salad makes you grow taller." But you have to eat your salad because it makes you tall, like, I say it very specifically, like, salad vegetables make you very tall, and she's already tall, so she's like, "I wanna be tall. Salads make you tall. Keep eating your salad." But those little things at that stage, I want her to understand the work that we're doing. I bring her with me everywhere we go. In a few weeks, I'll be taking her to Harvard. I'm speaking there, and I want her on the journey.
What we're speaking about.
About the film, actually, about the documentary. Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you
Thank you.
I can't wait to
Thank
get to that. Yes,
you.
she's on the road with you. She's experiencing life firsthand with you. She's gonna be the most well-rounded girl to ever grace this earth. She's gonna be beautiful.
You.
So one thing I wanna ask you is, what have you seen be the hardest thing post survivorship for a lot of these women who come into you? Is it just navigating a new normal? What are you seeing as like a big struggle?
Honestly,
Yeah, what?
relationship after you're like, yeah. Their relationships after
Interesting. Like with family, with friends, all of it?
with their partner, typically like male partners who don't understand, who aren't there for them in the way that they need to be, or expectations that their partners have post surgery for who they are, what their roles are, what the survivor should be doing at that time that they're not able to do. The beauty after and the tricks that it plays in your mind of what you're supposed to look like. I see that. And maybe it's because I'm there in the fitting rooms and I'm hearing the stories, but I hear a lot of relationship challenges in these next chapters. And my heart goes out because when you're experiencing a major surgery or any type of health difficulty, you need your tribe with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think it's a major red flag when partners aren't supportive of loving their partner who's experiencing cancer the way they really should be loved.
It's crazy because the fact that people would have such a high expectation of somebody who just is probably going through the hardest thing they will most likely ever go through in their life, to then have this feeling of my partner doesn't recognize me, they don't appreciate me. That's just extra trauma added to already what's a life trauma.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. It'd be interesting to actually you like brought this idea into my head to interview like a therapist, maybe somebody who like deals and how to like address that. Because I can't imagine, right? Like you just went through the hardest thing of your life. You just survived cancer to now you don't recognize your own personal life because expectations have changed. Your partners, their expectations of you have changed. What they think is beautiful might like that's got to be such an insane hurdle to jump over.
I think that would be a wonderful podcast topic because it seems like one of those challenges that people don't talk about,
Mm.
but that exists. Almost every patient that I've had has had those kind of challenges. The ones that do not are few and far between. I'll just say that.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, tell me about these pop-ups that you're doing. Where do you do them? Do you partner with anybody else? Describe a pop-up to me. And can we get one in California?
Yes, we're coming. I think I have San Diego on the list, actually. So we come into right now hospital centers and women's health centers for 4 hours, and we have 30-minute appointments in and out very quick where we do fittings for patients. So if you're connected to that hospital organization, you receive an email, or if you're just in the local area, we'll send you a message out to let you know that we'll be in your city at that time. And then you come in, you meet with a certified mastectomy fitter. We do everything we were doing in our brick and mortar space, but we do it inside of their facilities. And then we ship the items directly to your house afterwards. And we make it so simple. Even with our virtual fittings, our video visits, we'll send you like a fit kit of items to make sure you can try on your favorite prosthesis and bras at home with your clothes. So we try to just think about every step of the journey. But when you do the pop-ups, it's so super fast and speedy. Every time people are like, this is so efficient. I'm in and out. And that's our job. And when you're eligible for more products, we'll just send you an email and reach out to you.
That's incredible. When did you start? Did the pop-up start last year or has it been, did it start this year? What was
Target at the top of the year, January.
how many?
So we've done 39 in partnership with MedStar Washington Hospital Center and Women's Comprehensive Health in Maryland, which is just right down the street from where our space used to be. And they've been highly successful. So we love them. The flexibility is really great and it works out really well for everyone.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And do you have a lot of repeat customers, like women be like, oh, I'm back. Do you remember me?
Yes. In the startup world, they call it like churn, like how many people or what percentage comes back. So our repeat patient experience is over 85%. So over 85% of our patients will come back to us for another purchase, at least one other purchase. And then it's up to us to just keep reminding them because if it's a no cost or a low cost experience, it's almost no reason not to. And of course, by federal law, your bras and prosthetics are covered by your health insurance plan. And if you don't have health insurance, it's still covered by Medicaid. So if you've had a diagnosis of breast cancer, even if you've had reconstruction or a lumpectomy, you are still eligible. And I want everyone to know this. You're still eligible for bras and breast forms for the rest of your life.
Wow.
Both, yeah, up to 12 bras a year. So make sure you're maximizing your benefits. It's otherwise, if you use it or lose it, it doesn't roll over. So get your 12 bras a year, up to 12 bras a year, and then we can help you with that.
And then on average, how often should you be rotating your bras in and out, cycling? What's like average?
Your insurance will allow it typically every quarter, depending on your health insurance plan, every 3 to 4 months. And then for just in life, I would say at least every 6 months. So I like to say we have a Thanksgiving body and we have a summer body. Or is it just me? I'm like transitioning out of my Thanksgiving body to my summer body. But then we had Easter, so I'm like, I'm getting there slowly. But we have your Thanksgiving body and then we have your summer body. So you want to have bras for both of those body types that you have, at least.
Do you see Myya expanding outside of bras and prosthetics?
Well, we get asked that often. I think where we shine is in bras and prosthetics, but I can see us getting out of or into new markets. So we're in major conversations with a huge department store. Uh, if you think of your favorite department store, it's probably them. So we hope to have a distribution deal with them so that you're able to get these items for yourself, and then you can send the receipts off to your insurance just by popping into that store or shopping on e-com. So that's really important. And then I see us maybe going into other opportunities on television and sharing our stories in those ways, and then reaching more customers through additional sales channels. But I think there's so many women who need our help. And I feel like I pray breast cancer goes away.
Mhm.
But there will always be patients who will need us, who are having that experience like my grandmother had, and I just wanna be helpful in their lives.
When you say you wanna see it expand, maybe through television, are you allowed to deep dive more into that?
No, because I signed something.
Oh my, it's really official. Okay, that's incredible. Oh, congratulations. That's huge. And that is one thing that, like, I notice is that we are now in an era where a lot of things that have been taboo are more acceptable, right? Like, we are seeing a lot of advertising towards certain diseases, certain illnesses, which is amazing, but we're still seeing that lack of transparency when it comes to cancer. So to be able to walk into a department store and say, "Hey, I need a bra. Like, I just had a mastectomy. Like, I just need mastectomy care." To be able to do that is going to be life-changing, like, actually life-changing because it's still an area that is underserved.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We wanna make it as easy as possible, remove all the barriers that we can.
Mm. Okay, I wanna now jump into other areas of your life that you were just excelling at. Tell us about your podcast.
Yes. So, as a founder, this journey has not always been easy. And I feel like I had to learn a lot of things that no one could really teach me. I had to learn it on the fly and through experience and scraping my knees and getting back up and trying again. And I wanted to be able to offer women who were in similar positions or who had an idea of starting a business but didn't know where to go for funding. I wanted to give them opportunities and resources. So at the top of the year, I offered a little webinar, like a mini course to teach women about pitching, and it was actually really successful. So I started a podcast where I just share my experience about raising capital as a founder because fortunately I'm one of the few women and even fewer Black women to raise over $1 million in venture capital. I've now raised over 2.25 million.
Amazing.
A lot of that, thank you. A lot of that coming from pitch competitions and using my skills as Miss DC and things and tips that I've picked up along the way. I recognize that it was a common thread of what worked as
Mhm.
I present on stage, as I present to investors, as I communicate my story. And I didn't want women to feel like they were clueless or going through it themselves for the first time. So I recorded a few podcasts just with my friend, and it started to take off, and people were asking for more and more information. So now we have Elevate with Jasmine. It's a podcast series. It's up on YouTube where people can just tap in and learn more about the process of pitching. And then I did the mini course as well that you can find linked through our YouTube and then also on my Instagram, where you can just do like a 1 hour crash course of how to pitch investors and how to raise capital. And I believe it's still pay what you like, or it's still very low cost. And really, I did it to remove barriers of entry to new founders. I wanted them to have a very simple way of just understanding information that I was grabbing from all over the internet, piecing together and trying to make it work. So it's all in one place. So that's what Elevate with Jasmine has been, and it will soon become a community of women to share resources to.
Why is it so hard for women to get funding?
It's a boys' club,
Mm,
typically.
of course it is.
And what I see is that there are problems that women are often solving that are problems for women that those who have money may not understand.
Mhm,
And because they can't truly relate to the problem, they don't maybe see it as an issue.
mhm,
And then that makes it seem like maybe the market is too small for them to invest. And then they walk away from the deal.
mhm.
So that's what I've seen in my experience. So often people ask me, are there enough breast cancer survivors to support your business?
Interesting.
Yes, there's over 4 million women who are living with a history of breast cancer right now. And unfortunately, that number is going to double before 2030. Women aren't being proactive about their health.
Mhm.
So the answer is yes. But for a man who doesn't really know where a prosthetic goes,
Mm,
I
can they
would get a
relate?
lot of investors asking that, right, then they can't relate. For us, a lot of it is about storytelling, and I try to teach women how to tell the story so that people can understand quickly what they do and its impact.
Oh, that's incredible. It's interesting. I went to Are you familiar with Create and Cultivate? I need to Oh my gosh, I need to send you links after this. So Create and Cultivate is a big event hosted, I think it's twice a year, by Jacqueline Johnson, who is incredible. And they highlight female founders. And one of the best experiences I had was I met her name's Valentina. She's the founder of Daye, Daye, and it's CBD tampons. It is a brilliant company. And her packaging, the packaging is amazing. And I had an opportunity to speak to her one-on-one, and she speaks to why it's so difficult for women to get funding, why it was hard for her is because it's very hard for males to really understand what having a period is, like what you go through and like why CBD is important and why like a CBD tampon is going to help with all of your cramps and all the symptoms that you get when you are going through PMS. And her battle to really get funding. I should actually introduce you both and get along to House on Fire, but her story is very similar into you have to be able to storytell. You have to be able to really show this person you're trying to pitch to, make them feel that pain so that they can have a better understanding. But okay. And then how often do you put your podcast out?
Every Thursday, actually. And we just filmed all of May yesterday. We knock them out really quickly because when you share what you love, I'm sure it doesn't feel like work. It doesn't feel tedious. It's really exciting to do. But yeah, we shoot a month's worth of content every time we connect, me and my podcasting team.
You're like, the only word I have is amazing and incredible. Like, I'm so blown away. I'm also like fangirling like deep down inside of who I'm speaking with. Okay, now talk to me about Show Her the Money.
Yeah. Show Her the Money is a award-winning documentary that I filmed while pregnant, along with 3 other founders who were not pregnant, but we're also raising venture capital at the same time. So when I was in my 6th or 7th month, we began filming the journey of me closing our $1 million round. And they had to trim some of the documentary because, and I'm just telling you this, but because I'm not in a relationship anymore with my daughter's dad. So we tried to just be respectful of what we were showing as it related to that. But I was taking emails about closing this round when I was at the hospital in labor. No joke.
Stop.
No, yeah. We ended up closing the round 3 weeks after I gave birth. We had a major investor come through with a huge check at the very last minute. And yeah, so we showcase like the whole journey of that experience and what it felt like and the anxiety and
Like,
knowing.
literally.
Oh yeah. After having section. Yeah. My baby on my lap. So it's amazing. I signed the DocuSign with the deal terms and my baby was like napping in my lap. Yeah.
Okay, so did you come up with this? Like, this movie was your brainchild. You're like, I want to.
No, actually, the producing team reached out to my investor, Pocket Sun, So Got Ventures. She was the first investor to ever write us a check. And Pocket reached out to me and she just wanted to just gauge my interest and see if I wanted to share my story. And I said, actually, yeah, I would love to because I'm expecting a baby. And I'm closing this round. And I think it might have been when I broke the news to her. I was like, well, yeah, I have a lot of interesting things to share. Life is changing. And it was just a great fit. So they followed me around. It was very natural. They just followed the journey. And in the documentary, you get to see us like preparing for baby and then preparing for the deal to close.
Can you give us like a tip or trick of like how do you go about finding your first investor? Are you reaching out to them?
In my case, I did pitch competition, and that is really how I secured our first check. The first one I did actually was Pockets. It was SoGal Ventures Global Pitch Competition. Okay. Yeah, I won $100,000. I won like the major prize there, and it gave me also a ticket to fast track to Techstars. So Techstars is an accelerator program that teaches you really how to be a startup founder from start to finish. And it's an intensive program. It's 13 weeks. And I interviewed for Techstars. And when I interviewed for them, I got in. And then through that program, I met investors. And within 30 days of finishing the program, I closed my first $1 million. So It was through pitching and accelerators. Now, accelerators were really hot back then. This was like 2020.
Yeah.
And now I think that they're not as cool to do, but for
Interesting.
me, it was necessary. It was so necessary. I love the experience. I love the Techstars organization, and being affiliated with them has done nothing but make my life better. So,
That's so
uh,
true.
yeah, the accelerator really changed my life. So that's what I typically recommend to first timers if you're getting your first check. Pitch competitions and accelerators.
Oh my God. So I love how you're literally taking everything that you have experienced in your life that you have applied, right? Like with your company, with your life, turn it to a movie. Now you have a podcast, truly like teaching. Now I know it's for everybody, but specifically teaching women on how to raise your self-worth, your level so that you feel like you can attract investors and money because you can do it. That's incredible. And I'm sorry, people are not doing that.
Thank you. You know what? I believe in the power of women
Mhm.
and in us owning our financial futures,
Mhm.
owning our destinies, leaving a legacy for our children, should we have them if we decide to.
Mhm.
But I really, there's a part of me that's so pro woman because this is the best time that it's ever been to be an American woman
Yeah.
because we have so many liberties that did not previously exist. So I want to see us all win. There's 100 or so Black women who've raised over $1 million in venture capital. I want there to be 500, 1,000, 2,000. I want women to know that they have the power to raise just like men and to do it because our money, when you invest in women, your dollar goes further
Right.
than than when you invest in men. And it's just true. The impact that we have, the way that we can nurture through the money that we have is just incredible. And it's very unique to us. That's a big part of who I am and my identity. And I think it's important for us to continue.
How can we watch Show Her the Money?
Yeah, you gotta show her to themoney.com,
Yeah.
and there is a list of screenings because they're currently doing a 50-city tour, and my goodness, they're doing and it's not just 50 screenings, they have probably like 100 screenings across the USA. It's incredible. So coming up, we will be at Harvard, so definitely check that out. I believe it's general admission, you're welcome to come, but most of the screenings are open to the public, which is a really incredible way of them offering this.
That's amazing. Okay, so what's next for you? What like Jasmine Jones? You started a podcast, done a movie, we have Myya. Are we just going to be focusing on that for now, or are we like, what's next for you?
I recognize that I need to focus my intentions on just 4 things this year. So that's really what I'm doing when it comes to my business. And many of them I've shared before. So, like new sales channels for the business. We have one nonprofit partner that we're walking into this year, just so we can dedicate our time and our energy to very strategic moments for the business. So that's what's important to me is understanding that I need to be able to balance who I am and what I can pour into the company.
Mhm.
I love speaking publicly, so I am doing a bit of speaking this quarter across the USA. I'll be in Florida. And again, just sharing the message of what we do and what we've built and how people can become involved. And also inspiring other women who may be wanting to do the same.
Well,
And what else? Yeah, that's really it. I signed my daughter up for gymnastics and she loves it.
as a working mom with you, all these different business ventures, walk me through what does your day look like? Like, I want to know because I have a full-time job. I have the chemo club, and now I'm starting this venture with the podcast. Give me some tips and tricks. So you wake up, and how are you strategically organizing your day?
Every day I have like a goal for the day. So
Okay.
there's certain days where I'll do follow-ups with orders. There's certain days where I'll connect with our manufacturing partner. There's another day where I'll go to the pop-up site and
Mhm.
make sure that those are running smoothly. There's one day a week in the middle of the week that I take a break and focus on my daughter. So she has me
Smart.
just fully to herself during a weekday because she's so small. It's really important to me.
Mhm.
We do family dinners on Fridays. So my parents live not too far away, so we all get together. But I really try to give my all to what I'm doing in that day. So I have a breakdown, but it's like by day. And then one other thing I do lately, and I can show you on my phone, I found this really cool hat. You can put your to-do list on your home screen on your iPhone. Oh, that's terrible.
Oh, wait.
Your home screen on your iPhone. So yeah, so I just go through and I have to do the to-do list before I go to bed.
Oh, that's brilliant.
I created, but you can move the widgets around to create like a to-do list and make the to-do list your home screen, like make it really big. So I do that to make sure that I get all my work done. I love sitting down with a good Celsius,
Yep.
great music, and my computer open and just make myself do the work. The evenings are really when I thrive. I'm a night owl, so I'm happy to, after I put baby to bed, to just hop back into it and go for round 2 in my work. So there was a time where I would just do nothing but work nonstop, and that's just not who I am anymore. I want to be able to
balance.
yeah, and connect spiritually and connect with my family and understand that's part of my life too. I don't want to just work for 30 years and then look back and have money or have a house and
Right.
I miss my daughter growing up. So,
Exactly. And the way that your daughter is going to learn is amazing. Like her world is truly like people would kill to have that. So the way that she's going to be able to learn from you, oh, I'm like so envious.
it's more pretty good. Call me anytime. We can hang out. We
What's the
can go
DC?
work.
I mean, come and hang out with you. And I just like want to learn from you for a couple days. Be organized. I want to be like strategic. I think that's brilliant. Okay, wait. My last question. I forgot to bring it up. Are you going for another round of funding? Not allowed to say.
We have about $700,000 left in this current round. So I would like to close that out.
Yeah.
And then I think with the new distribution channels, we won't need to raise again.
Mhm. Mic drop.
Thank you.
So for those of us listening, those of us who want to purchase a bra, order the Myya kit, what do we do?
Go to Myya.com,
MYA.
MYA.com.
Okay.
Click book a video visit
Okay.
and you enter in your information. You select an appointment time, and within 4 days, you'll get your measuring tape with instructions for what to do at your appointment. So that's best way, the easiest way. We're also everywhere on social media at We Are Myya, MYA,
At We Are Myya. Okay.
everywhere. And let's see what else.
And
If
is
you
there
want to,
pop-ups on the website as well?
we haven't released our outside list yet, but it's coming soon. And I think we even have a button for if you want us to come to your city, you can like select or tell us your city. But I know we'll be doing Atlanta. I know we're doing San Diego in California. I know we're doing Philadelphia.
When you get that list, send it to me so I can publicize for everybody, seriously. Because I'm Jasmine, when I tell you, so I'm here in San Francisco, when I tell you the amount of women who are looking for this, and I'm like, I don't know where to turn them to. I know that kind of a sad story, but Nordstrom's, which love Nordstrom's, they did have in the laundry department, you could go and you could get measured and they could help you with a post-mastectomy bra. But unfortunately, San Francisco, Nordstrom's has shut down, and a lot of our storefronts have shut down since COVID. And so when I tell you how excited I am to send them to Myya, like I'm ecstatic. But I would love to also help promote. When that list comes out, send it to me.
Okay, I definitely will. And I appreciate that help and that support. Yeah, I got you.
Do you guys do event?
Do we do? I'm sorry.
Event?
Event?
Mm-hmm.
We do. We've done a few conferences. We've done some more so on the medical side, but I really want to get into organizations. You all would be a wonderful group to host a conference. I could totally see the Chemo Club as a conference. Maybe we can talk about that one day.
Yeah.
I could see your viewership coming out and really supporting you for a conference, panels, and all that. But we'll talk about that. But yeah, so I really want to get into actually going and meeting young survivors at young survivor organizations or young thriver organization conferences. So we definitely have to lean more into that.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna once we're done recording this chat because I have something in mind that could be like really cool for us to do. Okay, what's one thing if you could leave all of us with an important message, whether it be about Myya, whether that be about health and wellness, whether that be about investing, what's one thing that you can leave us with?
Only one. Can I do two?
Give me two. Give me
Okay.
two.
So the first thing, I want everyone to know that it is a federal law that your bras and prosthetics are covered by your health insurance plan. Do not leave that money on the table. If you've had a diagnosis of breast cancer in your life, full stop, you are eligible for bras and prosthesis for life. Okay. So that's the one thing. So many people don't know, and I've made it my mission in life to tell everyone. My grandmother didn't know, and she was paying out of pocket for these items that can be so expensive. So please keep that in mind. But the second thing I would say is we all have a dream inside of us and inside of our hearts. And I believe that we're all put on this planet for a mission to fulfill that dream and that destiny. Even if it feels too big, even if it feels too hard, don't stop and don't give up, because there are people who need what you have to offer. And we all have something. It's so easy for us to feel like discouraged because of challenging times or circumstances. But I want to remind you to never, ever give up on your dreams, on your destiny, on yourself, on this life that you have. No matter what you're going through, there's a purpose behind all of it. So I'm here for you. I'm here for everyone. Trust and believe. I've been through hard things too. And when you come out on the other side, there's a light there. There's a light there for all of us. So
That is so gorgeous. I need to hear that. I think also in the day of social media, it's really hard to come down on yourself, to feel like, oh, but so many other people are doing it. They're doing it so much better than I am. And I think it's really difficult. Once you get into that rut, it ends up being a mental game. It's really hard to get out of that. But you're here for purpose. That dream in your heart is there for a reason. And to just stay in your lane and just to focus on it. That's a really powerful message.
thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for everything. We are going to make sure that everyone goes to wearemyya, MYYA.com.
Myya.com.
Just Myya.com. Okay, so MYYA.com. Elevate with Jasmine, the podcast. And then show her the money.
Movie.com. Yep.
We're link all of this. And then where can people find you on social media? What is your personal? Are we allowed to follow you personally?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm at Jasmine in DC.
Jasmine in DC. Thank you so much. I can't wait to meet you in person because it's going to happen.
I know, right? Come crash on my sofa. We have plenty of room.